Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I thought today I would take you on a quick little springtime tour of my yard. We don't use any pesticides or herbicides, so we get a lot of fun little volunteers that crop up. Some are medicinal and some are just delicious. So come with me and I'll show you around. The first plant I wanted to show you that is a volunteer in my yard are nettles. Nettles are just invaluable. They are chock full of iron and are really good in soup. They are, of course, stinging nettles, so if I were to touch them, I would probably get stung. There are ways to harvest them without getting stung. There are certain ways you can grab them. You can see the little hairs on the stem and on the underside of the leaf and just a few on the top of the leaf, and those are what carry the irritant, which is similar to that of mosquito venom, believe it or not. I like to use tongs when I pick nettles because I just don't want to get stung. I use them to make tea, I put them in soup, and I also make a rather luxurious rinse for my hair. So there's nettles. And this is dead nettle. Most people regard it as just a weed, something to be eradicated, but this little powerhouse, it's just a great little plant. It can be used in tinctures and salves. You can eat it. Again, always make sure that you've identified your dead nettle, but this little plant I just adore. It is all over my yard, and in my personal opinion, it's kind of pretty. And here we have good old-fashioned dandelion. Dandelion root is good for liver health, and the leaves are edible, although these might be a little too old to eat. Dandelion is an amazing little plant, and in my opinion, I think it's pretty. The next plant I wanted to share with you is burdock. Burdock, believe it or not, is an ingredient in root beer. Typically, it's the root part that is used. I will say, however, that there are a few species of plants that resemble burdock that are not actual true burdock, so please, please, please make sure that you identify the plants you are using in foraging properly. And to my surprise, what have we here? This is chickweed, one of my absolute favorite little wild plants to work with. I pick chickweed and put it in salads. It kind of tastes like green beans to me. I also use it in my gardener's salve. It is excellent when paired with Comfrey for taking care of little scratches and little irritations you might get from digging around in your garden. One plant I wanted to show you, though it doesn't grow necessarily wild here, I did plant this one myself. This is Comfrey, and Comfrey is also a wonderful plant. This plant is going to be huge by the end of the year. It'll probably be about 3 feet tall with little purple kind of bell-shaped flowers. I use burdock in salves along with the chickweed, and I also feed it to my chickens because they really like it and it's really good for them. There are a lot of uses for Comfrey. Its folk name is bone set, so it's been said to help with the healing of bones and wounds also. You just don't want to put it on a wound that's very deep, or the wound could close before it's ready and you could get an infection that way. So of course, always use these with the proper knowledge and with the proper care, and they'll serve you well. This next plant is wild rose. This wild rose plant did not grow here as a volunteer. I actually planted it myself, but it does grow wild all over where I live. In the next few months it will flower and then leave little rose hips everywhere, which are chock full of vitamin C. I like to use rose hips in teas and tinctures. And here we have my raspberries, which do not grow wild here, but I did plant these a few years ago. Raspberry leaf is very good and toning for the female reproductive system, so usually I will pick some of the younger leaves when it's a little bit fuller and I'll dry them, or I will just go and make a tea right then and there. I recently got a few starts and I wanted to show you what I've planted in the last week. Here we have just a little bit of peppermint, which I actually have peppermint all over my yard, but I wanted more. Here is a blueberry plant that will go in the big garden once we get it tilled. And here we have what are called hula berries or white strawberries. I thought that would be kind of fun, so I picked up a few of those starts. Here we have a cute little thyme plant. And here is a tiny little basil, which I refer to as the smell of happiness. And here I have some chives, which I did not plant them this year. They're actually a holdover from last year. So there you have it, the springtime tour of my edible yard. As the season turns, more and more things will pop up, and maybe I will do a tour of my summertime edible yard. Thanks so much for stopping by.